Okay, so we're this fancy-looking guy on the train. Okay, before that, I'm gonna take a quick sip of tea again. Oh. Okay, no, the tea is still too hot, so not a good idea. I have assembled everyone just as you asked, Detective. The victim's wife and the two men who were present in the passenger car at the time. I confess the truth of this murder continues to elude me, but no doubt you are soon to enlighten us with your great powers of deduction and observation. May I inspect the body again? No, that wouldn't be fair to the other passengers who haven't had a look yet. I see. But I will tell you again what I know. At 11:13 a.m., the professor dropped dead in his chair after sitting down with his wife for a cup of tea. At that time, Mr. Ryokenshi and Mr. Andretti were the only other passengers present in this car. Mr. Perry returned later. The rest I leave to you to deduce, Detective. Okay. So, nothing that we can do here under the cloche. Niccolo Andretti, a businessman. I told you, I'd never even heard of this man. I know of Bergerworth College, of course, it's an excellent institution, but I didn't know he was a professor there. Now, come on, let's not delay our journey further. I'm traveling with 19 suitcases of exotic rubber to make new and exciting wheels at the factory. Detective mode. You observe closely to see what you can deduce. Exotic rubber, eh? No doubt from the jungles of Almodovar, whose local brand of nicotine I smell on its collar. Of course, the rubber plants of Almodovar don't just yield material for bouncy tires, but an odorless poison, lethal when drunk in hot tea. But why would this man abet the murder of a stranger? I suspect the answer lies within the resume of on the table and the name printed on it. Martin Perry. Yume Ryokenshi is the victim's wife. Okay. The widow Ryokenshi dabs her eyes with a handkerchief embroidered with the words mourning, rags, and wipes. A moment's privacy, please, Detective. I had nothing to do with my husband's death, and no reason to want him gone. He was a kind man, and not a rich man. Everything he made he spent on the roulette tables. He owed over 700 of them. That's the largest collection in the world. He owned over 700 of them. That's the largest collection in the world. We were traveling to Yorba Linda, so the mayor could give my husband the key to the city. But that won't happen now. Detective mode. You deduce that you should make some observations. Sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one. She says she had no reason to wish her husband dead, but the chemical stain on her cuticles and the fingerprints on the window above, which she opened to dispose of the murder weapon, tell the tale more truly. But the nose reveals even more. Observe the zigzag pattern of the medial cleft below the nostrils. It's called Petrie's philtrum, and it's a rare genetic condition she shares with Martin Perry, her son. Okay, Martin Perry, a youth. Let's interrogate. The young man is absent-mindedly but methodically disassembling and reassembling a fountain pen. It's as I said. Yes, the man was a professor of mine at Bergersworth College, and yes, he gave me a C and a D, but that's no reason to kill a man. Wouldn't you agree? Besides, at the time of his death, I was in the lavatory trying to figure out what all the bits and pieces do. The perfect alibi, wouldn't you agree? Detective mode. Deductive observations wing about your mind. He's right. A mere C and D are no reason to kill one's professor, but is that the whole story? Observe how the boy tinkers with the fountain pen and the train lavatory. He fancies himself a mechanic, but he wouldn't get a foot in the door of that profession if his C and D stood for car and dunce. For car dunce. Nobody would be able to hire him. unless the professor who awarded those ignominious grades died. In that event, every grade he ever gave would be voided, and this young man could take a plum job in car manufacture and start earning the big bucks. Is it like Murder on the Orient Express? I think was it that one where everyone is the killer? Where everyone kills him? Yes, detective. Tell me again what you know of this case. I have solved this murder, or leave. Okay. Okay, you had exotic rubber, resume on the table, the name printed on it is Martin Perry. Martin... Perry, and you are Martin Perry. Okay. So, so did he buy the poison from this guy, detective mode? Yes, could be. What do you have to say again? So I think he bought some of that poison from him. Moment of privacy, detective mode. Yeah, and she disposed of it. I think it was all of them. Yeah. I have solved this case. It was never in doubt, detective. Now tell us all what happened here. The victim was poisoned by Martin Perry. Hold on now. That's Claptrap. Everybody, that's Claptrap. Please, all will become clear. The victim was poisoned by Martin Perry with exotic poison from the Almodovar rubber tree. Out of greed, out of jealousy, out of lust for revenge, out of sick curiosity to shut him up, to protect someone and or something, to avoid his car dance grade so he could make tires for Mr. Andretti. No, you're a donkey. I'd give that a B for balderdash. Careful now, don't be a fool. You are gifted with great powers of deduction and observation. Now come on, use them. No, that's not how it happened. I shall tell the tale again. I must take my leave. Okay, so... Okay, he was, poisoned by Martin Perry using exotic poison from here, out of greed. Okay, no. Oh wait. That's all for now. Maybe to keep a secret? Because she's his mom. It's a rare genetic condition she shares with Martin Perry, her son. Yeah, maybe it's just to keep a secret, yes. I have solved the murder. Poisoned by Martin Perry. Exotic poison to shut him up. No? Okay. Come on though. Like, he was poisoned by Martin Perry with exotic poison from the Almodovar rubber tree. To protect someone or something? Really? Okay. Let's take our leave. Let's read that stuff again then. C and D, reasons to kill one's professor, but it's the whole story. He tinkers, he fancies himself a mechanic, but he wouldn't get a foot in the door of that profession with his C and if his C and D stood for cardons, nobody would be able to hire him unless the professor who awarded those ignominious grades died. In that event, every grade he ever gave would be voided, and this young man could take a plum job in car manufacture and start earning the big bucks. Sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one. She says she has no reasons to wish her husband dead, but the chemical stain on her cuticles and the fingerprints on the window above, which she opened to dispose of the murder weapon, tell the tale more truly, but the nose reveals even more. Observe the zigzag pattern of the medical cleft below. The nostrils, it's called Petri's philtrum, and it's a rare genetic condition she shares with Martin Perry, her son. And you, detective mode, exotic rubber, eh? No doubt from the jungles of Almodovar, whose local brand of nicotine I smell in his collar. Of course, the rubber plants of Almodovar don't just yield materials for bouncy tires, but an odorless poison lethal when drunk in hot tea. But why would this man abet the murder of a stranger? I suspect the answer lies in the resume on the table and the name printed on it, Martin Perry. Come on, though. But what else could it be? He was poisoned by... Was it someone else who poured it in? No, it's him with the motive. Exotic poison. Out of greed, out of jealousy, out of lust for revenge, out of sick curiosity to shut him up. We already tried greed, right? I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't have the brain for puzzles today. Yeah, for... Out of sick curiosity. Okay, you know what? He was poisoned by you. Using that to void Martin Perry's cardons. Okay, so it's just the same options. And you did it out of greed. Ludicrous, okay. If I say now he was poisoned by me with exotic poison out of sick curiosity. No, idiota. That's not how it happened. That's all for now. Okay. Tell me again what you know. At 11:13 a.m., the professor dropped dead in his chair after sitting down with his wife for a cup of tea. At that time, Miss Ryokenshi and Mr. Andretti were the only other passengers present in the car. Mr. Perry returned later. The rest I leave to you to deduce. Okay, but what else could have happened? I've solved this murder. He was poisoned by Yume Ryokenshi. Exotic poison from the Almodovar rubber tree to shut him up. Let's try it again. Let's try again if he was poisoned by Yume with the Almodovar rubber tree out of to void Martin Perry's cardons grade. There we have it. Okay. The victim was poisoned by Yume Ryokenshi with exotic poison from the Almodovar rubber tree to void Martin Perry's cardons grade so he could make tires for Mr. Andretti. Young Martin Perry dreams of working on cars, and his fresh ideas excite Mr. Andretti, who runs a tire factory. But Master Perry's professor has effectively blacklisted him as a car dunce, unemployable. What to do? Kill the professor, of course, and avoid that odious grade. Here the plot becomes more wretched. Master Perry's mother, Yume Ryokenshi, marries the professor and arranges for him to be present on the very same train as Master Perry and Mr. Andretti, who supplies an undetectable poison administered by Miss Ryokenshi. Et voila. No more professor, no more car dunce, but there is one thing our three conspirators did not count on. Me. Let's pause for applause. I'm not ashamed. Any parent, sir, would do the same. As would any manager seeking new talent with interesting ideas about tires. If you call someone a car dunce, you're branding them for life, and you're responsible for anything that happens to you. How awful. The three of them in it together? Tell you what, detective. At the next stop, they can all get out and take the bus. A sick business. Quite so. But a wonderful feeling, I think, to be possessed of great gifts, great powers of deduction and observation, and to use them. Here's another, a gift, that is, call it a reward, a mysterious owl ring. A gift from a train coroner in a dream or in something. Let's take the ring then. A nice ring, isn't it? What rewards accrue to the powerful? Look what rewards accrue to the powerful. Look how the world itself reveals itself at your touch. I must take my leave. Yeah, I must take my... Wait, was that not it? Do I have to arrest them or something? Is it now uncursed if I... Is it just the leave? Okay. Oh, it's different dialogue. I thought it was the same thing again. But yeah, the car dunce thing was just a deduction thing. I admit, detective, I poisoned my husband. Oh, but spare me the reproach. Wouldn't you do just as I did if some scoundrel of the ivory tower branded your son a car dunce? No? Then I dare say you are not a parent, sir. What did you say? What do you have to say? You really are as good as the papers say, detective, to sniff out that my C and D grade stood for car dunce. Yes, I put the whole plot in motion. Of course I did. Getting called a car dunce ruined any shot I had at a career in wheels. But a man's entitled to make a living, would you agree? This was the only way. And you? I confess, detective, I supplied the poison that killed the professor. But wasn't it worth it? Look at this resume of Martin Perry. Look at all these interesting ideas he has about tires. Bouncier, globular, backwards. Is the life of one man worth more than bringing new and innovative wheels to the world? Yes, I did it. I did it so I could hire Mr. Perry, and I would do it again tomorrow. And don't lie, detective, you would too. Okay, so do we just leave? This curse remains unsolved? Let's discuss. I have solved this murder? What? No, I was wrong. Was poisoned by Yume with exotic poison to avoid Martin Perry's Martin Perry's car dance thing. Wait, what are you doing, detective? You've already solved this case. You were given great power, and you used it. Don't you remember? Don't you remember the ring? You're being foolish now. Oh. What is going on here? Okay, let's touch it for now. Let's equip the ring. And let's sit in it. And the key's cursed. Right. Interrogate. Let's still the same thing. Huh? That's the same again? You already have your answers, detective. At 11:13 a.m., Yume Ryokenshi poisoned her husband with an odorless substance derived from the rubber trees of Almodovar, supplied to her by Mr. Andretti, as you've deduced. The professor had effectively blacklisted the sorry youth Martin Perry with a cardance grade. Miss Ryokenshi diesmal? Okay, probably a typo. Sought to avenge her son and Mr. Andretti to hire him at his factory. Ergo, they all conspired to murder the professor and void the debilitating brand of cardance. I have solved this murder. Yes, I know. Wait, what are you getting at? The victim was poisoned by you with what? Oh, you're a fool, a fool. I gave you great powers of deduction and observation. I gave you the power to bend back the skin of the world and sniff up its insides. How dare you waste it? You really want to live without this power? You really want to live in the dark? Yes, you're a fool, and I wouldn't sully that ring on the finger of a fool. Give it back now. You don't deserve it. I uncurse you. Okay. Sure. Alright, why not? So, did that curse effectively try to bribe you into not destroying it? That's a little disconcerting. You look at the key that once harbored its shadowy magic. It shimmers in the light. You check your fingers and pockets, no mysterious owl ring. You are reminded of the great figures of history who wielded incredible power and chose to give it up. You can't think of anyone specifically, but the concept is interesting to consider. 25 XP. Who's someone famous who gave up great power? He's not famous, but my dad never eats more than he needs to at a buffet. I don't remember where I read this, but there's a rumor that Anne Boleyn had access to a tank, but chose not to use it. No need, she said. And you know what else had a tank? Who else had a tank? Walt Whitman. Interesting. Okay. Let's fish one more. Do you want like one instance of every fish or something? I think we didn't have you yet. Yes. Mr. Calvin Meat, I'll choose you. Is that enough? Your mind tingles, the fishing rod's curse has caught another fish today. And you get the feeling the more fish you help him catch, the happier he'll be. Okay. Alright, let's quickly... I'm gonna do a little bit of errand work now, but I can already feel my voice slightly giving out, so I'm just gonna go back here to the Big Moist, and I'm actually gonna look at Largemouth Bass and Sons real quick, because I wanted to earlier. Oh no, not more. 1 second. You step through a copse of swamp cypress and to the edge of a gloomy clearing. Quiet, but for the sound of dirt raining on an open grave. Two burly men work hurriedly with shovels to bury the corpse of a gator man, whose epaulet hat and mailbag mark him as some manner of mailman. As the gator is swallowed whole by the mud, his gravediggers straighten up and look you in the eye, sweaty but defiant. You have stumbled upon the darkest and most secret part of the swamp, where sins are buried, and gators, the Leather Brothers. I'm gonna, you know what? Let's do that. Oh wow, Nothing to see here. Are you sure? Careful of him or he might tan your hide. Let's greet him. Something to say about the dead gator? Swear I didn't know he was a mailman. Would never intentionally hunt a mailman. Who are you? Me? Ain't much to my story. I'm a hunter, name of John Leathers. And if you can't tell from the accent, I'm from Albion. As a toddler, I hunted small game like mosquitoes and gnats, then moved on to foxes and voles and such as I grew up. I like the game over here, but I've got my eye on the greatest hunt of all. Humans? Big picture, I'd like to build a ladder to heaven so I can hunt the dinosaurs. That's more of a 5 to 10 year plan though. I don't think that's how either Leathers or heaven works, but I guess it's good to have a dream. Wouldn't it be more practical to build a time machine? No, that just sounds ridiculous. I never accused you of killing a mailman. Ah, hell. Me and my big mouth. He was in my way, you understand? Had no idea he was a mailman. Never would have touched a mailman if I'd known. And my brother, he had nothing to do with it, understand? I swear. What's wrong with killing mailmen? Listen to yourself. Can tell you ain't a hunter, alright? Most any species is fair game for hunting, but mailmen are protected by international treaty. Last hunter I know who hunted a mailman got pulled up by the International Criminal Court and mailed to Mars. I've never heard of an International Criminal Court. No reason you should have. So far its jurisdiction only extends to the hunting of mailmen. John wipes his brow with the blade. Whoa, never been asked so many questions before. You can talk the talk, alright? But what about hunting the hunt? I got work that needs doing, but I ain't going out while they're searching the swamp for the sod who killed their mailman. They find me, I'm dead. You don't have to be a leatherman to know which way the wind blows. What are you asking me exactly? Working on something real important, a project. For that, I need 5 gator hides. Even though a place you might find them, scoped it out myself. Couldn't be easier unless it was a smaller number of gator hides. A Gatorman village. What's this project you're talking about? Not so fast. Need to know I can trust you first. I better get going, okay? So we've got some side quests for next time. A sack of genuine leather. It's empty. It's only made of genuine leather. It does not contain genuine leather. The ambiguity is clear now, and the person responsible for the original description has been sacked. Wouldn't go in there if I were you. Why? Might not like what you see. Let's go inside. That egg is busted and... okay. Told you it weren't a pretty sight. I was looking forward to eating that egg all day, and come dinner time I only went and bloody dropped it. Sorry for your loss. Anything here? Can I abscond with some beans? Hunter's beans, a veritable hill of them. And you, a man observes you with monk-like serenity. Hi there. Looks like you've set up quite the trading post here in the swamp. John shakes his head. Paul can't speak. Can we trade? Condensed swamp gas. A pickaxe, I'm gonna buy that because I needed one at some point. Condensed swamp gas is a potion. Imagine if Reader's Digest branched out into the sewer treatment industry. Increases the damage of your magical weapon attacks by 5. Okay, a crowbar. I think we have one, yes. I'll buy one of those. Gatorman skin pants, I have one. Impregnable tack. This is much harder than normal tack. Physical armor by 3 until you eat something else. I'll buy 1. Powerful grits with enough butter, anything is edible. Sure. roll of duct tape, I have that, and a sharpening stone, I have that. Wonderful. Now, anything else on the map? You know what? I can feel my voice is reaching its end. It always happens a bit quicker with this game than with others. Simply because, you know, no voiceover and a lot of text. So, yeah, I'll call it a day for now. And I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.